Welcome to another edition of the SprintCarUnlimited.com deep dive presented by Dottie's Family Market in Dover, PA. Joining us on the show this week is Sprint Car owner and driver Casey Kane. Before we get to Casey, don't forget to check out Dottie's Family Market, your one-stop shop on your way to the races. They have fresh made subs and sandwiches with all the fixins, perfect for a night at the racetrack. Dottie's has everything you need in one location, including a full-service deli, a wide selection of groceries, and gas. If you're looking to sit down for a meal, you can check out the Hive Coffee House and Cafe for a great sandwich. There is also a seasonal greenhouse on site, and coming soon, Dottie's Crab House, where you can dine in for fresh seafood and all-you-can-eat Maryland crabs. Head over to the corner of Canal and Bull Road in Dover, PA. Dottie's Family Market has you covered. Now here's Casey. Casey, welcome to the deep dive. It's a pleasure to have you on.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Jeremy. It's I've seen a lot of your stuff, but never really done a meeting with you, so it's nice to do this.
Yeah, and I was doing some research beforehand, and it's a good starting point. Where you grew up, Uniclaw, Washington, and when you were born, the population was 5,000. It was 5,427, and in 1990, when you were 10, it was 7,227. And my question is, how do you get started in racing up in Washington? It's not. I don't know if it's a racing area or not, but how do you get interested in racing?
Well, I'd say Enumclaw's a much bigger town than that now.
Yes.
But yes, when I was little, it was a pretty small town, really cool town to grow up in. We had just a lot of open country, and we had some land. We had like 50 acres growing up, so we would build our own racetracks, our own. We had a river that ran through, made like a sand pit. When it would flood, it would run through and basically create new paths or hills, and we'd make tracks in there as well. So we did a lot on our four-wheelers, motorcycles, things like that. And then my dad, he worked on sprint cars when I was little. He sponsored them through his logging business, and then he owned a sprint car. So I was around it and I just loved it, always wanted to be around it. But no one, my dad did a little bit of driving, but really I was the first one that was really into the driving side of things. But he was into sprint car racing, our family was. So that's how I got started. There's Skagit Speedway, there's Elma, a couple of tracks up there that good car counts and great racing, but not a ton of racing in Washington, but there's definitely a good bit of it.
Now, I guess 17, you got in your first open wheel car, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so I started in mini sprint. I had a micro when I was 14, did 4 races. And then 15, I did micro, 16 mini sprint. And at the end of when I was 16, the end of that year, I did some races in California, sprint car races in California. So 16, 17 was the first year I did a lot of 360 racing. And when I say a lot, back then it felt like a lot. Not sure that would be a lot today. No. I don't even remember how many races it was, but it was probably around 35 or 40 max. And that was a lot of races.
Yeah, I sometimes think there's too much racing now, especially in Central PA where they have 1,435 races a year. But so fast forward to 2000, you come to Pennsylvania and you win the Williams Grove season opener. And I remember you in the pit area. I was at that race. I covered that race. I interviewed you. And what was that experience like? Because you were kind of just a shy kid who just came east and you were on the road, and how surprising was that? I know they still talk about it today, that win.
Yeah, it was a cool win. I mean, Williams Grove is just a track that, like my bedroom growing up, I had all the, whether it was an open wheel magazine or the calendars, the big calendars. So my walls were just all pictures. And Williams Grove it would have been the brick car with Deweese. It would have been probably Doug Wolfgang car, maybe from, I mean, there was just Todd Schaefer. There was a lot of cars on my walls growing up that was Williams Grove. And so it actually, when I went and raced there, yeah, 99 was the first time I raced there. And then 2000 winning the opener was, it was just a track that, was unique and very, very different than anything I'd ever raced at, but super eye-opening and just really cool to get to race there and to win. I think I was quick time at the National Open in the Zimco car and ran well in those outlaw races there. So it was always a really neat track, but something so different than anything I'd ever been to.
You mentioned the Zemco car, and I was going to get to that because I don't think many people remember you in that car. What was it like being in an iconic car like that? And it was still around as of last year. I don't know what they're going to do next year. I have my doubts with everything that happened, but just to be one of the guys who sat in that car and then obviously set quick time.
Yeah, it was a neat opportunity. That was we went fast and great opportunity, fun to drive, cool to go to the shop. And I remember looking at Billy Pouch's Syracuse car that was sitting in the shop, and just a lot of history there. That would be another car that would have been on my wall growing up, was the Zimco car, with Billy Pouch in it. So yeah, just really a great car to drive, a neat opportunity. Learned a lot over those. It's probably right at a month and a half or 2 months that I was in Pennsylvania. Lived in Tower City with Rick Hawk and drove the Zimco car. So yeah, had some fun in that. I think we went to Delaware and raced. We raced Lincoln, Williams Grove. Yeah, so it was a good little run at the end of that year. And then the following years when I got into midgets and started racing with Steve Lewis, and still my dad's car, but also racing for other car owners too.
Yeah, you won the 2000 USAC midget title. And where was the point where you said, hey, I can end up racing Sundays on pavement?
So I grew up just wanting to be a sprint car driver. I just wanted to race dirt, race sprint cars. Like that was my dream, and I loved it. And that was, my goals were set for that. Once I got the opportunity to do some pavement racing, first I went to we just did like a practice day in Washington with it would have been John Starks, who John Starks, he had midgets and drove drove his, I think it was at Spanaway Speedway, and that was the first time I made some laps in a midget. Then went and drove for Ed and Louis Shevchek and did a couple races for them in their pavement midget, which Davey Hamilton had driven prior to that. So that was a really good midget as well. And then driving for Steve Lewis, during that time, I realized that I really enjoyed pavement and liked the feel of, just trying to feel your tires and the right rear grip. And it was so much different than dirt, but I realized I really liked it at that point in time, but I was still trying to go dirt racing at a full-time level. And it just all somewhat switched during probably 2000. And I was like, man, maybe there is a different opportunity. Maybe there is something else out there for me. And, and that got together with Ford as well when I was racing with Steve Lewis. So did some IndyCar tests and then did some NASCAR tests. And the opportunities were in NASCAR down the road. But yeah, overall, it was, I was just kind of learning as I went, and our success was pretty good. So I was getting opportunity and just trying to make the most of it when different things would pop up.
Well, you certainly made the most of it, I'd say. You had 18 Cup wins, some big ones along the way. I believe it was 2005, correct me if I'm wrong, that you started KKR, Casey Kane Racing.
Yeah.
What made you, I mean, because look, even at that time, owners weren't exactly rolling in money from sprint car racing. What made you decide to, I know you have a love for sprint cars, but what made you decide to start a dirt program?
So I think a couple of things. '04 is when I made my, I started in Cup full time with Ray Evernham. So, I started making money at that time. So that was one big part is, I mean, you don't go sprint car racing without money. So, um, we started making money, and I really, when I started racing for my dad, him and my mom did everything to give me the opportunities to go sprint car race and move to the Midwest and do all of that. My cousin Willie and Cole, who are factory cane shocks, they they were right with me the entire time, and my brother and as well. So between those three guys, like we did it all together, and we started mini sprints and moved up from there. And it was, really just a really cool part of our lives, a great time. And when I, and that was all for my dad, and he was doing everything he could to let us have those opportunities. So when I finally started making money to do it on my own, the first thing I did was start KKR. And I had an apartment still. And it was just about, we rented a shop in Mooresville, North Carolina, and started KKR. And we did we had some cars and things already that we were building up because of my dad's racing program, the support of Phil Durst and how he had helped us over those years as well, and Gary Zeronian. So between all three of those guys, plus myself wanting to have KKR, we started at that time. And '05 was, we had a few different drivers, really good drivers, a few different ones. And then '06 is when we went full outlaw racing and got Joey Saldana.
Yeah, I think the first year you had Jeff Shepard, Jesse Hockett, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Jeff Shepard, Jesse Hockett, Kerry Madsen drove like Williams Grove and some stuff later that year. I drove that car a little bit. So it was yeah, we had some fun, and they did a good job, but we had a long ways to go at that point in time.
Now you had some USAC teams, didn't you?
Yeah, we did USAC, we did the Mopar, had the Mopar deal, and did a few years of USAC, midget, sprints, pavement, dirt, all non-wing, and then the outlaw teams. So there, and once that started, we had a lot of racing going on. Those were all in Indiana, so I wasn't near as close to those. We built a shop in North Carolina, um, basically rented and started building a shop so that we had our own place, and moved into that pretty quickly.
So you get Joey Saldana, and wins start piling up. What was it like for you to have a World of Outlaws car that first year in 2006? Because that's the pinnacle of this, I would say the pinnacle of dirt track racing. And I mean, that had to be kind of a surreal feeling to have a driver like Joey and also have a team out there that was that competitive and that good.
Yeah, and so the guys, my cousin Willie and my brother, Justin Adams got involved,
Yep.
around that time as well. So, and Cole, and then we just started building KKR, and we had the right people because we had all raced together in the past, and learned a lot, right? Like you have to want it, but you have to also, be learning as you go, because it's kind of a never ending. Racing is never ending as far as what's out there and how you can learn it, and the mistakes you make to get to certain levels. So um, yeah, we were in a really good place with that. We picked up a driver who had done the World of Outlaws and had a lot of success with Joey, and just kind of put it together. And right away we were a winning team, and it was really cool, because that was like an ultimate goal of mine, was to win World of Outlaw races, win championships, things like that. And it happened quickly to win. The other stuff took longer, but we were able to win pretty quickly.
Welcome to another edition of the SprintCarUnlimited, .com live show. I appreciate everybody joining us. Sorry, voice is still a little shaky tonight. Guess I have a summer cold coming on. But I appreciate everybody joining the show, and we're going to get right to the questions and calls if we get any in. And Eric is back on the producing end tonight, so feeling a little more comfortable. Donnie Schatz finally had some good qualifying efforts this past weekend, which led to dashes and strong top 5 finishes. Good to see that. Good to see for that team. Qualifying's everything, unless you're Buddy Kofoid at Huset's or Buddy Kofoid at Lincoln or Rico Abra at Eldora, which I found I was looking at this morning. Kyle Larson at Peevely, they all timed in the 20s and were able to come through and win since 2024. But yeah, I mean, it's Donnie Schatz. I knew he'd have a better year this year. He couldn't have the same year he did last year. He's 5th in points. I think he's right there with Sheldon. They could be jockeying that back and forth throughout the year. I think the top 3 are going to be pretty set. But yeah, if you time well and put yourself in position, you're going to finish up front unless you put the blinkers on. I was really impressed, not as much at Knoxville, but I was impressed at Huset's that Donnie was able to hang in there and even battle for second as long as he did. And he ended up 5th. David Gravel got him. Sheldon got him. But it was a good weekend for Donnie. Did you officially win the Casey Kane bet, or has it been extended with the added races? I don't know. Here's what I'd like to do. If Lauda gets on here, I would like to, I win the bet because the time period has expired, but I'd like to go double or nothing. You know, just keep it going for double or nothing. So I got 25 in the bank, and then we'll go double or nothing if Lauda wants to do that. Who wins Grove Friday and at Lincoln Saturday? Well, Chase Dietz is going to win at Lincoln, I think. Really good there. Williams Grove. Again, both series races. I think Troy Wagaman at Williams Grove. I'll take Troy Wagaman at Williams Grove and Chase Dietz at Lincoln. Bob on line 1. Bob, how are you?
I'm doing real good.
Good.
I wanted to ask you, do you see much difference in the new surface at Huset's?
Well, it didn't rubber up last night. That's positive.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
You know, I didn't think it was bad week 1. I didn't think it was terrible. And again, they have a new surface, so it's going to take a few weeks and a few times to get it run in and kind of know what they need to do with it. So I think we need to give them time. But I thought last night was really good. Buddy came from 7th. I don't know what more people want.
Now, do you think that extra 100,000 is going to draw really anybody extra in?
I don't know. I think Peck's definitely going to go west. Pittman's going to go west with Kreitz. Maybe it draws Rico and Aaron Reitzel. And really, I would say that's who it's for, and Tyler Courtney. I do not know what Brent Marks is going to do. I heard it, rumblings that he was going to go out to the West Coast. But maybe 2-3 cars max. And from what I gather from my sources out in the West Coast, there's not going to be a retort, meaning Skagit's not going to put up extra money or anything like that to counter it. So I don't know if the extra 100 will do it or not. I mean, bottom line is you got to beat that 83.
Well, yeah, that was kind of my point. You're not going to beat him anyways.
Well, I mean, look, anything could happen. Anything could happen.
Well, if it ain't him, it'd be Gravel,
Sheldon's good there.
Yeah. Point is, you're not going to beat an outlaw team.
A Reitzel at this point would be the one who I think would be in the mix. Rico's getting better, as we saw at Eldora. So I think Rico could, if the right circumstances, lend it. I mean, last year he timed well, but he couldn't get through his heat race. I know somebody said Bill Baylog. Yeah, I mean, he gave Buddy a run last year. Last night he dropped back a little bit. So I don't know. Beating the 83 is just going to be so hard. He's got to almost have problems.
I would just be very surprised if Reitzel and Rico don't end up going to Washington.
Well, yeah, I don't know what Aaron's. I'm not sure what Aaron will do. Rico, again, it could also be determined by Ricky Warner's health and whatnot. So I think there are a lot of factors, but $100,000 extra might draw 3 guys, and that's a maybe.
Yeah, I don't think he has much fear of having to pay it out.
Yeah, I would agree.
But I have one more question.
Go ahead.
Have you ever seen this driver's what do they call it?
Driver's Project?
Driver's Project.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Did you see that last one with Bill W. on there?
I did not.
Oh, that's good. They go back to history of sprint car racing, start at the 50s, and there are some crazy stories about Opperman and Wells.
Oh yeah.
It's really good.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, you should. It's really good. But anyways, that's all I wanted. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you very much, Bob. I appreciate it.
Bye.
Yep. Bye-bye. All right. Did Rich Eichelberger get a completely new crew after Brock Zierfoss split from the team? It seems like they're having a lot of mechanical problems this season. Yes, they did. Jim Shuttlesworth went with Brock. I think all except one guy, I'm pretty sure. Stover stayed, and I think Lance brought somebody in as well. I just think they're going through all the components that they have. I'm trying to find the right mix and match. And I think they'll be better come Speed Week. I think that's when you can expect Lance DeWeese to be on point, so to speak. He was in the chat last week? And he talked about that as well. He wasn't worried. Again, they're going through some equipment, mixing and matching, seeing what works, what doesn't. And I think that's just led to some mechanical woes. Hit the like button. Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Realistically, how many drivers who are planning to heading to Skagit will now change their plans and head to Huset's? 2 max. I think 2 or 3 max. And I don't even know. I don't even know if Tyler Courtney was planning to go out there or not. Aaron Reitzel. I mean, some of it could be weather related as well. Guys will watch the weather in both places. I think there are a lot of factors, so I don't think the $100,000 is necessarily going to be the end all be all on, where 2 or 3 guys go. I mean, I think you have Ricky Warner, health issues. Where's that team at that point? I think for Aaron Reitzel, again, does he not want to go to the West Coast and stick close to Houston? It's looked good last night. So had a good run, finished 3rd. And I mean, again, you still got to beat the 83. So I don't know. I don't know if look, they want to support Kevin Rudeen as well. And they have another 6-figure payday at Skagit later in the year. So I can see why guys would want to go out. Jeremy, Houston's giving a bonus to non-outlaw driver to win. Definitely can't be popular for the outlaw full-timers. I've yet to talk to any of them yet. I might take my daughter for braces today, but I don't know. I think it probably split. I think probably half the field doesn't care, and maybe 2 or 3 guys might. I don't think David Gravel will care. I don't think Buddy will care. I don't know. I don't think a bunch of guys will throw too much of a fit. I think they know what it is. You're trying to get Aaron, you're trying to get Rico, and the chances of them, I mean, they can win. It's not that they can't win. They can. They absolutely can. But I just, what about Ryan Timms? He's going to be there no matter what. So a guy like him, or maybe Justin Henderson in the McGee car. The McGee car is usually pretty fast. They backed it up last night. So I think they did it to try and get an Aaron Reitzel, get a Rico. I don't know if they will, but there's some other guys too. So I don't know. Maybe some guys. I think I could see Donnie being upset about that. I could see maybe a couple other guys. Maybe, I don't know. I haven't talked to anybody yet. What more can go? What more? You never say this. What more can go wrong with Marks this season? Having a horrible season, losing the sponsor, and tearing up the car at Grandview. Was hoping he could have a great showing at the Weikert. It's not been good for Marks all the way around. The racing season's probably been one of his worst, especially with all the expectations. He's a franchise team. He came into the year 4th. Obviously, I think now he's 10th, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't looked, but I believe he fell to 10th after Grandview. Definitely not what he wanted. And when you get on runs like this, it's hard to get out of it. Very hard to get out of it. He could have used the Weikert. He's been good in Central Pennsylvania. If you take out the Grandview race, he's had top 5s every race. So yes, Port Royal probably would have been good for him. Now he's got to wait until July, and he's going to hit the road again this week and go to Lawrenceburg and Butler. He definitely needs to turn things around. It's not good, not good at all. And I'm surprised it's been this bad. Merch update, don't have one. Again, I'm waiting for some things that I'm working on to come in, but I check back with me in a couple weeks. Thoughts on the Jacob Allen deal? Also, did you see Allen was at Grandview with Cameron for High Limit? I was not at the High Limit race at Grandview. My daughter had a banquet and I had to do the father thing. But I knew people there. Yes, I do know Allen was there. What do I think of it? I know a lot of people online were kind of saying how this was such a big mistake for Cameron and whatnot. Look, everybody said the same thing when Allen hired Torgerson. I heard it nonstop. And they turned out to be okay. It was decent last year. They struggled this year out on the road, but again, that was expected with the Outlaws. I hope the money holds out. I mean, obviously, Jacob came off the road because of it's really expensive to run the Outlaws. It was financial. That was the reason for it. Is it going to be easier running Central PA? Sure. He's going to be able to sleep in his own bed. He's going to be able to, none of that's going to be, it's going to be definitely cheaper but he's not going to get paid as much depending on performance. So I understand why Cameron did it. Cameron's going to get some races out in the road. He wasn't going to get that with Lefevre. It's not going to be a ton of them. So I'm kind of mixed on it. I know that sounds like a cop-out, but I don't, if the money holds out, it's fine. because Cameron wants to get some shows on the road outside of the area. He's going to get that with Jacob. It's an iconic car. It's going to up his exposure, so to speak. Talking to Lefevre, I don't think he was pleased by it, but he didn't hold anything against Cameron, and he was supportive. He's supportive of his career. That's what he told me, almost verbatim. I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell. That's one it's so hard to – it's all about the money. If the money holds out, it's okay. Got to have a lot of luck in the dash draw. Buddy didn't have luck last night. Didn't matter. Drew an 8, got 7th or 6th, whatever it was. I think he got up to 7th, and then he just drove to the front. If you're good, you can pass cars. If you're really good, your car's good, you're on point, not making mistakes, and I don't think he made – I watched that feature. I didn't see any. Not that I'm a driver, but it didn't look like any. You can go to the front. It proved that you can pass. And he passed in the heat races there. Somebody asked about Husitz, what I thought. Bob asked what I thought about Husitz. He came from 6th, got to 2nd, was in the heat race. It's not that I love Buddy. It's look at what we see. He leads the Outlaws in wins. Last year he led the country in money. What's the problem? The proof is in the results. I'm results-based, baby, and he produces. Jeremy, I saw a video that was posted last weekend with Gravel being interviewed, and he mentioned about the Weikert weekend and the rain. He wished the competition he wished the competitors luck, but hoped for rain. Had it rained, he heard of a date that they were thinking about having the Weikert and would run it. But World of Outlaws are running at Weedsport the same days as the Weikert now. Is there another date we don't know? No. Not that I know of. I from the time the weather was bad, every conversation I had was July. It made sense. It was built in. You have those 2 days in July where the high limit was going to go to Port Royal anyway. It just made sense. So I don't know of any other date. Now, they might have been able to stick it on the Thursday of the Tuscarora 50, but here's the problem. When you have an event like that, you got to get your prelims in. And the reason you got to get your prelims in, that's where the purses are lower and you can make more money. That's where you can kill it in the grandstand and kind of have money in the bank by the time you get to the finale, which obviously had a huge purse. I think it was $202,000 or whatever number it was for the finale. So you've got to get your prelims in. That's why they said about the prelim for the Weikert in July, getting that in. If they don't get it in, it's going to change the finale. If they do get it in, it'll probably be the same. Got to get those first couple days in. When is the last time someone came from outside top 20 to win on an outlaw feature? May 5th. Rico timed 22nd at Eldora, and he ended up winning the main event. When I looked at that, I saw 16th, and that was his hot lap time. That's my bad. In my 90 at 9 this morning, I screwed that up. It was so it wasn't long ago. And then Buddy at Lincoln, it was split qualifying, but according to SprintCarRatings.com, he was somewhere in the 20s for that, and he was able to come through. So it's been done, and he's done it twice recently. Larson, I think before that, you have to go back to Larson at Peevely did it in 2024. So it's been done, and it's been done a good amount of times in the last couple years. I just didn't. I thought it was 6. That was on me. 2 questions. What is going on with Colorado? Are you finally ready to admit Aaron is the best in the country right now? You commented on my 90 at 9 today. I'm not going to mention Aaron every 90 at 9. Okay. Come on. That gets boring. Colorado, it's a couple plays. It's a couple bounces. If you look at the stats, are pretty close. Games haven't been a blowout. They won one, and then each game was close. They had the game where they got down 3 goals, got back to 3-2, and then Vegas got an empty netter. Then they get out to a 3-0 lead, and they end up blowing that one. One was an empty netter. So it's just, I don't know. I think Vegas is more physical, and I think that's what's doing. We'll see if Colorado can avoid the sweep tonight, but Vegas has looked really good. I didn't expect that. I watched them a lot during the regular season because I watch Edmonton, and obviously they play in that division, and I would have never guessed this. Tortorella coming in, making a coaching change. Bravo to the GM. It was criticized when it was done, but the results, again, they look really good. Hart looks good in the pipe, between the pipes. They're scoring. They're taking advantage of their chances. Am I ready to admit Aaron is the best in the country right now? If I had to rank them today, there is a good chance Aaron Reitzel would be number 1 in the country. So now, if he was running against Buddy every week, Gravel every week, I don't know. But we don't have that, so it doesn't matter. I would probably rank Aaron number 1 right now. I wish somebody could have a list of races won from each starting position. Very few win coming outside of the Dash group. Yeah, it doesn't happen often. And it was, somebody said bad take about something. I don't know about what, but it happens, just not often. And even the guys who time poorly somehow make the Dash in their heat race, and then they go on to win. Like I said, Buddy last night, Buddy at Lincoln, Rico at Eldora, Larson did it at Peevely a couple years ago. So it does happen, but yeah, the Dash is huge. Will on line 2. Will, how are you?
I'm doing all right. I have a question for you, sir.
Go ahead.
The sprint or the World of Outlaw race recently at Knoxville. I'm listening to it, and they threw a yellow flag because a guy got sideways.
Yep.
And was able to control it and then get back and go without spinning out, not causing a crash, not hitting the wall. But they threw the caution, and isn't that out of the ordinary?
It's track to track, official to official. I don't think there's any set rule. I think if you're looking for consistency on cautions with guys getting out of shape in front of the field or in the middle of the field, I think you're just not going to get it. I think there is a human element. I think race director, obviously there's such an emphasis on safety now. I think guys are maybe jumping the gun a little bit, and I'm not saying that in a bad way, but I do think they're quick to call yellows. And I don't think it's wrong. I don't think it's right. I just think it's a product of some of the injuries that are out there. And I don't think you're going to get away from that. I think there's going to be mistakes. And, I'm sure in that case at Knoxville, I'm sure they were like, we shouldn't have thrown the yellow there. But better safe than sorry, I guess, is the old phrase. I don't know. You're just not going to get consistency on it.
I know, but it just seemed like a bad deal because the guy, now you're penalizing the guy to the tail. So you just took his, if he was in a top 3 or 4 or 5, in a transfer spot per se,
Yeah.
and he gets sideways enough to get their attention, if they're that worried, why let the guy on the track?
I don't disagree.
I just don't see the reason to have cautions because they thought something was going to happen. That's all.
Well, he's pretty sideways. I mean, I thought he was going around. But he didn't. And
no,
look, it's not going to be perfect. And maybe in that case, you do some kind of blend thing. If you throw an inadvertent caution, I think maybe that's a way you could do that. But either way, it affects the race. It wipes out a lead. It bunches up the field. Regardless, it affects the race, even if you don't put him to the rear. I just think right now with the safety stuff and the emphasis on it, I just think you're seeing guys make quick calls.
All right. Thank you for taking my call.
No narc news this week. You probably were in withdrawal. Oh, I think he cut out. Will, thank you for calling. I appreciate it. Will Vegas sweep the Avs tonight? Stay tuned. I don't know if McKinnon's going to play. McKinnon's banged up. He didn't look good the last period the other night. So if Colorado can get this one and then go back home and then maybe get it to 3-2, then maybe, thoughts start creeping in for Vegas, but Vegas looks really good. And they've been really physical with them. And I just don't know. I mean, McCarr's playing with an upper body injury, which that doesn't matter. He played well the other night. So that has nothing to do with it. And McKinnon, though, he looked like he was laboring. He had no wheels. He couldn't skate away from guys. That one hurts. But still, Vegas has played great. I'm going to take Colorado tonight. Still, I think it goes back to Colorado. Todd should have threw that money toward what? I don't know what that word is, but yeah. Look, he could have spread it through the A main, but I don't know if he counts on paying it out. I don't know if he expects to pay that one out. So he could have. That's not what he did, and it got a lot of pub. I talked about it on the 90 at 9 today, and it was talked about on social media a lot. You put up a bounty that gets people talking. Todd knows what he's doing. Jim from Buffalo on line 3. Jim, how are you?
Oh, a little bit better than last week after the Sabres got bounced out of the playoffs. But you know what?
Good year.
I'm pretty proud of the boys. After 14 years, we get in there and we not only win a series and take it to one shot from the Eastern Conference Final.
Good year.
I love it. Now just make some good moves in the off season. We got some really good playoff experience, and that's what counts. You got to be there. You got to see what it takes. They'll have a better season next year, and they'll be ready for the playoffs, and they'll know, hey, you got to go. I mean, it's like being a rookie in the Outlaws Tour. I mean, you're going to get your ass handed to you a lot, but you got to learn.
I was surprised. I thought they played well throughout each game. I thought they were pretty good throughout the playoffs. I know they lost. I think Montreal's pretty good. I think Dobesh is maybe playing even above his head. He's keeping him in this series with Carolina, and I thought he did with the Sabres. I thought Buffalo played well. I don't think their fans have anything to be upset about.
No. Well, think about this last night. Montreal had 13 shots on goal.
I know.
Carolina had 39, but Montreal blocked 33 shots. So add those together.
You know, the interesting
You
part,
know?
I heard a stat today. They have these things they call quality chances, where you're just not throwing it on net. Now, this isn't a telltale sign, but out of Montreal's 13 shots, 9 of them are what they call quality shots. So,
Oh yeah, yep.
you know, and I think they said Carolina's was 5.
Yeah.
So,
No, I mean,
but you still got to get it on net more. You got to see what, you know, you got to make it happen. I mean, come on.
yeah. You never know which way the puck's going to go. I mean,
Right.
gee whiz, how about that one Thompson scored just off the stanchion and then hit the goalie in the ass and what it. But hey, enough about hockey. It's over. I just want to say rest in peace, Kyle Busch. You know, wasn't a big fan, but you know what? He brought his kid to dirt. He raced on the dirt, raced at the Chili Bowl. I mean, you know, that sucks. I wouldn't wish that on anybody.
Sad. It was sad and shocking. It just came out of nowhere.
Yes, exactly. And then the 500-mile race on Sunday.
Great.
Man, that thing never disappoints.
It's great.
And you're third going into turn 3, and you win by 6 inches. I mean, God, that's beautiful. That was he drove the Hodenschild line at Eldora. You know, high, wide, and handsome, baby. That was just beautiful.
It was really a good Indy 500. It's one of the races that I try and catch every year. Normally, I'm on the way to Port Royal toward the back quarter of the race, which is fine. I like listening to it on the radio, but it was good. It was such good stuff this year, and I hope IndyCar can use that as a springboard.
Yeah, I think they will. And yeah, gee, I was really heartbroken that the gingerbread tour went rained out this week. You know, and I'm being very sarcastic, but you know, a lot of the local guys, they could have won some money there. It would have helped them.
Yeah.
But you know, and I'm looking at the good and bad from this weekend. You know, Buddy, good, came out there, had a good solid weekend. Carson Macedo, yeah, a little struggling the last few races, so I don't know what's going on with him. You know, coming from the B main a couple times, but you know, and this $100,000, he named a lot of good drivers. Let's not forget Austin, Carl, and Tim's. They run really, really well at Huset's, and they run there every week. I mentioned Tim's. They could be in there for that. Oh, okay. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you didn't mention the big unit. He runs pretty good there. But I tell you what, this is a way too early prediction for nationals, but there might be some booing going on because you know what? Right now, I'm looking at 2 guys, and they showed it on Saturday night that might have a chance of winning, and that's Don and Aaron. You know, so there might be some boos after the A main on Saturday night. I think that would be spectacular. I'd be happy with either of them winning. I mean, I
think they both get cheered.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because here's why. I think Donnie's now kind of has that Darrell Waltrip effect where he's older. He's kind of the underdog. I think he would get cheers. And as for Aaron, I think it's just somebody new.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Good point. Very good point. But yeah, I tell you what, it looks like Barry's getting Donnie's car dialed in because he's getting more consistent in the top 5, top 10. And I watched him run that middle groove like he did in so many of his victories in nationals. And, you know, that's the key. You got to run the groove that nobody else is running. And he's been very, very successful at it at Knoxville.
Got to get points, and you got to start in their first 4 rows, I would say, at Knoxville.
Yeah, you do, but
he's not coming from 20th. He's not coming from 20th anymore.
No, he's not coming from 20th. He might come from 10th or 12th, but not 20th. If you get in the top 6 at the break, you got a shot.
No, it depends.
Anyways.
It depends.
Anyways. All right. Well, you have a great week. I'm going to be back now. Hockey's over, and break out the brooms for tonight. Don't bet on Colorado.
I did not bet on it. I have not placed a wager in about 2.5 weeks, about 2.5 weeks. I haven't placed I didn't feel good about anything, and I'm not betting on tonight, but I'll take Colorado.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I have my reasons, but hockey season's over for me, so now it's sprint car stuff. You have a great week, and we'll see ya.
Take care, Jim. I appreciate it.
Alrighty, bye-bye.
Yep, take care. All right, we have John on line 4. John, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing good. Doing good, Jeremy. Hey, I wanted to ask you a question about how long do you think this kid will stay with Shark Racing now? Do you think this thing will go the rest of the season?
I think it could.
Like a revolving door down
there.
Revolving door down there, isn't it?
Well,
it seems to be.
I mean, Ashton went almost a year and a half, and I don't think it's a revolving door. Jacob was in it, and then it came out there, and then Ashton was in it. Cale Thomas was in it for a while, but they didn't gel, and then they got Ashton, and I mean, I think Cameron could be in it for the rest of the year.
I think Cameron's he's a gasser, and I think that
yes, but no,
a good job in that car.
Yes, but no, I don't think Cameron's a gasser.
I think he gets in the gas pretty good. I think he's.
They all do. They all do, but he's not.
Pardon?
They all do, but he's not out of control. I don't see the same driver I saw in the Trone car. It's not the same.
Oh, you don't?
No, I don't. I saw it at Port Royal.
More conservative?
I would say smarter. I don't want to say conservative. I watched it at Port Royal. He jumped into 1A and he ran the top really well, which he doesn't have a lot of laps at Port Royal. And then he ran the bottom really well. So I don't think Cameron, I like Cameron. Is this going to be a good move? I think that's yet to be determined. Can he be in it the rest of the year? Sure. I know he had a good thing going with Lefevre, but again, we're going to have to see if this works out. I'm a little uncertain on this one. So yeah. I'm going to take a wait and see attitude.
Right. And who's going in that Lefevre car?
Aaron Bollinger is going to run it this Saturday night at Lincoln, and it's going to be week to week after that.
Oh, okay.
And maybe Aaron's full time then. I don't know.
Yeah, right. I also wanted to say I thought Ashton did a great job in that 99 car up at Port Royal.
Or you mean at the Grove in the Outlaw Show? He finished 8th. Yeah, it was a great run.
Yeah, that's right. It was the Grove. It was the Outlaw Show.
Yep.
Yeah, I was surprised because I didn't think that car. Generally, I wouldn't have put that car in the top 10. With Bollinger, is it Bollinger? Yeah.
No. With Ashton, I would not have put that. I would not have guessed they would have top 10'd it.
No, I wouldn't have either. I was pretty impressed with that.
Yeah, it was good.
All right. Well, I'll let you go.
All right, John. Thank you very much.
Talk to you later.
Yep. Bye-bye.
You bet. Bye now.
All right. We'll get back to the chat, I guess. Who do you think Huset's will draw from PA? I'm thinking Dietrich, Dietz, Macri, and Kane. Maybe DeWeese and Zerfoss. No way any of them. I don't see any of them going there. Dietrich's not going to go there. It's because that's going to be right around Ohio Speed Week, Pennsylvania Speed Week. He's not towing to South Dakota. Macri, I don't know if Macri will be back, and I don't think Kane's going to go to Huset's. And DeWeese and DeWeese, the Rich Eichelberger car is not towing to South Dakota. Zerfoss, maybe. Not sure, though. Dietz, I don't know what the schedule is around here. But South Dakota, I think they're holding out for Kings Royal, Knoxville. I don't know if Huset's is on their list this year. So I think The only guys who maybe would go are Dietz and Zierfoss. And I just don't, I mean, I'm sure Macri would, but I don't think I don't know if he's going to be back in time. That's not far away. So, and I don't know if you want to go to Houston's to $100,000, a $300,000 to win race as your first race back. I don't know if that's the way to go. So, I don't expect any of them to be there, quite honestly. Why don't none of the posse ever come to the high banks? I could see Chase doing good. We don't really have anything like that. Macri's gone. Macri's gone to it. There was the one year it was over Speed Week. Then it got moved. So I think we're only coming into the second, maybe third year that it might only be the second year where it's not over Speed Week. So that was a part of it. And I mean, you could see Dietz doing well, but Dietz doesn't see anything like that all year. Path Valley, maybe, but that's not even close to Houston's. So I don't think it's, and again, you're running against Gravel, Buddy. You're running against Macedo. I know he wasn't good this past weekend, but Aaron Wright. You're running against guys who get a lot of laps there. You know, Buddy's won 5 out of 7 out of the last 7 there. You know, Dietz has never seen it. So I think they would have to maybe go to a local show first and then stay in town for the high bank, which they could do, but they're also leading the series. So I don't know if they want to give that up. And again, they're coming out for Kings Royal. They're going to Knoxville Nationals from what I gather. I just don't see them going to South Dakota. Jeremy, figured you would have took the short ride east to Kutztown for the modifieds on the baseball field. Haha. Actually, I was down there and dropped off some pay-per-view equipment, and I turned around and came back here to do the show. So I was down there. I did see the pit area. They have a great crowd there tonight. And then I came back and I'm doing the show now. So I was down there. Central PA drivers Jason Schultz, Mark Smith, Billy Dietrich, Dylan Norris, all the Western PA regulars, and a handful of Ohio guys for Western PA Speed Week should be a good 5 nights of racing. I like what they're doing out there. Every year they build this thing a little more. I know it's only $4,000 to win their biggest shows. I don't care. It started a lot lower. They continue to build this thing little by little. Their car counts are good. The tracks embrace it. They get good crowds. I like what they're doing in Western Pennsylvania for this Speed Week stint. It's getting bigger and bigger every year. And yeah, I think you're going to see more guys go out. I wouldn't be surprised if Logan Wagner shows up. Port Royal's not running this weekend. I wouldn't be surprised if Ryan Smith shows up. He's run those races before, some of those races before. So yeah, I think you're going to get a good mix of drivers, and I'll definitely be keeping my eye on it. Uh-oh. What did Eric fall asleep? Oh, changed my mind. Too many top-heavy winners' purses are not good for sprint car racing. I would agree with that. Lance DeWeese and I have talked about that. It's the old, hey, instead of paying 50, pay 35 and roll the 15 back through. Maybe have a B main. There's a reason Knoxville Nationals draws more cars than any other race. It's because they pay really well in the B main, really throughout the whole field, even the C main, D main, somebody's getting something. So I don't disagree, but it doesn't get the pop. Let's face it, 20,000 means nothing anymore. Nobody cares about it. We don't even know what's going on. They're trying to get pop with the fans. getting press, getting, noticed, and 6-figure paydays, that does that. I do think there's a point where we get, I do think there's a point where we get to, you can't go anymore. And I think we're to that point. I don't think you can go to 200,000 to win the Weichert. I think now you got to work on those purses down through. So I agree with you. They're not going to listen. They're just going to, because they want that pop. But I do feel they've hit a point where they kind of got to stay there and they got to work down. They got to work from the bottom up. Hopefully that happens. Let's not forget, people, Cali now has the Trophy Cup and Dirt Cup point system for the top three. 100,000 to that winner. It will pull cars to California. Yeah, high limit's over at that point. I don't know what the Outlaws week schedule looks like in October toward the end there. I know they have a break before World Finals, I believe. They normally do. Maybe you get some guys in other cars. Who knows? I'm anxious to see how the Trophy Cup does this year going to 410. Really anxious to see how that works out for them. What that car count is. Definitely something to keep an eye on. Glad I got out of the damp PA weather and flew to Indianapolis for the Indy 500 this past weekend. It was a blast. I would definitely recommend it and want to go back again in the future. I was at the 100th running. I took my father. It was a Father's Day gift for him, Father's Day birthday gift for him. And I enjoyed it. Loved it. I thought the atmosphere was fantastic. The pageantry was fantastic. It was the year Alexander Rossi won on fuel mileage. That's not great, obviously, but it was an upset winner. Nobody had him winning it that year. I'd like to go back as well. I think it's great for motorsports. I do love the Indianapolis 500. Agreed. I know people who go out every year and they always have a good time. Jeremy loves Buddy so much he ignores the fact that he's not that good on the big tracks. I've said many times Eldora is his worst track. I've said he's not great at Knoxville. He has a win at the Grove, and it wasn't a lucky win. He drove around people. I believe he drove around Brent Marks and Gio Scelzi. Yeah, okay. He's not great at Eldora. He had a top 5, the last time there, which was like a win. I believe he finished second to Rico, which again, like a win for him there. He's got to get better at him. Having all these races at Knoxville isn't going to hurt him. So do you think he's not a top 5 driver in the country? Is that what you're saying? I'd like to hear that response. Because that's ludicrous. Do you have any info on why the Roth 83 is running both Speedway and Ryder TRDs? In Victory Lane, Buddy has been acknowledging Speedway TRDs. But the last night said there was a Ryder TRD in the car. I know different tracks, he puts different things in. I mean, they're part of the Toyota development program, research and development, however you want to say it. And I do know there's certain motors they like at certain places. Aaron is a really good driver, but not the top in the country now yet maybe. But saying he's the best now is definitely a stretch. It's a pretty good resume right now. He goes into an Outlaw show at Knoxville and he wins. Gravel hasn't been winning as much. Buddy, yes, struggles at certain places like Eldora, Knoxville. Right now, you have to give consideration to Aaron Wrightsley. He's the leading money winner in the country. and he's tied with Chase Dietz for the most wins. Got to give him his props. So it's close. It's close, but I might put Aaron number 1 right now, as of today, May 26th. He's top 5, but you've been saying he and Gravel are the 2 best in the country. I agree. I do think who's better? Okay, we could say Aaron Reitzel right now. Who is better? Who? He led the country in money last year. He won double digits. How many outlaw wins does he have? He's winning at an alarming. His win percentage for the Outlaws is pretty good in his career. It's right up there. I think it's like 3rd best all time right now. He has a higher win percentage than David Gravel. True story. He leads the Outlaws in wins this year. I don't know what you want. I mean, I think right now it's Gravel. It's in no particular order. It's Gravel, Buddy, Aaron Reitzel. Aaron Reitzel looks really good. So who's better than those 3 right now? And who has been better than Gravel and Buddy over the last 2 years, this year and last year? Who's been better? Anthony Macri, but again, he's not running the same schedule. Dave on line 5. Dave, how are you?
Hey there, Jeremy. Hey, just tell them guys ain't nobody else won $130,000 in the last month.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron Reitzel's on a heater. There's no doubt about it. And you have to give him consideration for, and again, I think I had him 3rd in my last poll, which came out a couple weeks ago. I believe I had him 3rd. I might move him to 1 right now. I don't know yet. I have to look at it.
He's on fire.
He is on fire, yes.
Yeah, he's on fire right now.
Yep.
I'm kind of anxious to see what Danny Sams is going to do up there at Butler. He's coming off a couple of wins here in Ohio, and he usually does pretty good up there at Butler.
Yeah, they've been struggling this year. I'm hoping they turn things around. I like Danny Sams. Obviously, he's out there kind of running it on a shoestring a little bit. His mom and his dad are his crew. So you always want the little guy like that to do well. I was at Bridgeport last year when he won. So, yeah, I mean, it's we'll see. He needs a good run. It's been not so good in high limit competition.
Yeah, I like that guy. That's about all I got, Jeremy.
All right.
I told you that Buddy's chipping away at you. He's coming for you, buddy, man.
He's 118 out. He's moved into 2nd. He's tied with Carson Macedo. He's got a lot of ground to make up.
You might want to start rethinking that bet right about now.
I'm feeling pretty good about my bets.
All right, buddy. I'll see you later. Thanks.
Yep. Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it. Are you ever going to have merch or just yanking our chains? No. Look, the pay-per-view thing kind of blew up this year for me. So I'm kind of cautious with my funds more so than in the past. This would be last year. I would have pulled the trigger already. There's a deal. Somebody I know who has a friend who has a business, and I got to look into it. I just haven't looked into it yet. Right now, I'm in the process of just reevaluating some other things, being more efficient, so on and so forth. And that takes precedence, but I will get to the merch. Will the 2026 PA Posse Series be a 1 year and done deal? What metric do they use to see if it is successful? Well, I can't answer the second part of that. I don't know what metric they're going to use. Some of the people at the top of this thing, I just don't understand how they come up with stuff. So, but I don't think it'll be one and done. No, I do think it will morph into something else. I mean, when I say that, I think there's going to be changes to it. I think I think this is a learning year, and it's just, I don't think a success. I have no idea how they would measure that. If it up crowds, up car count, and it definitely hasn't upped the crowd. There's no doubt in my mind they have, because I've been at most of them, all but one of them, I think, and the crowds have not been up. There's no way. I take pictures of the crowd, and not from the top of the grandstand or the side, like the nice, like they do online, on streaming services, or people like to do. You got to do it head on, heat races right before the feature, things like that. That's when you got to look at the crowd. And the crowds have just been the same. And there's been a lot of complaints about the $30 cost to get in. So I do think we're going to see changes to it, but I expect it to be in place next year as well. Jeremy's going to be door dashing and doing Uber Eats to afford merch for us. No, I will not be doing that. The merch delay is Econ 101, creating demand. I wish it was that simple. Yeah, I wish this was planned. That's funny. That made me laugh. What do you think of KKR pairing this year? I think it's a work in progress. I figured they'd struggle at the beginning of the year. You have a crew chief who's not a sprint car crew chief, and he's learning the ropes. And I think Dason Pursley obviously is getting acclimated to that situation with a new crew chief. So I do think they're going to struggle early, and they've only had 14, 15 races. Hasn't been a ton as far as high limit. So we'll see what they're looking like. June, July, Weichert time, albeit Port's tough on invaders for some reason, except Aaron Reitzel. And it'll be interesting to see how that team develops throughout the year. That 83 was so damn hooked up, just brilliant setup calls. They look good. They look good. I'm curious, what is max capacity for Port Royal? Are they able to pay for the Sunday Weichert purse without the 2 prelim races? Big purses are great if you can afford it. You think Port's pushing too hard? I do think you got to get those prelims in. I think it comes down to, can they pay the purse? Yes. I believe is it 5,500 or 6,000 on the front stretch? And then you have the infield, and then you have the pit area. They can afford to pay it. But it's got to make sense. You want to make money off it. Like, you want to hit a home run. So you got to have those prelim nights to kind of help the bank account. You're not going to see them keep the purse the same if they wash out that Friday night. It's going to be altered for the Weichert if they don't get a prelim in. I have no doubt. So you can really make your nut on those prelim nights and put yourself in position to hit a home run on the finale. And that's what it comes down to. I really like Aaron. I guess I can see why people don't, but I think Aaron runs everything at a business standpoint. He also runs the wheels off the car, which I really like. So I think he'll, yeah, I mean, Aaron has run his own team. Ridge and Sons, Brian Ridge owns the team, but I think he trusts Aaron to run it. He's like a crew chief out there as well as a driver, and he knows what he likes, and he knows exactly what to do with the car to get it where he wants it. Obviously, it's not always perfect because no one is. Steve Kinzer didn't win 100% of his races, and he had Carl. So yeah, Aaron's good all the way around. I think he's a top 5 driver in the sport, and that's not just right now. I'm saying in general. Dale Earnhardt and Jeff Gordon started to get cheered too when they stopped winning all the time. It's how it works in racing. Stop winning all the time, become a fan favorite. Yeah, you get older, you don't win as much, and then people kind of want that last hurrah, so to speak. And I think that's where Donnie falls in as far as if he won the Knoxville Nationals. I think he'd be well received by the fans. I don't think people would be upset at all. Even the people who don't like Donnie, I think they'd be okay just from the standpoint of it's been a while since he's won one. So I think, and Aaron's the same way. I think it would be somebody different. Ryan Timms last year, really popular win. It's kind of like a local because he ran there most of the year. But again, it was somebody different, and it was hugely popular. How many teams are running Kaiser wheels in hopes of bagging the 100,000 bonus if they win with them at the Knoxville Nationals? How many Woo and high limit teams run them? I'm not sure on that. And I've always wanted to look at that. I just never get around to it when I'm out there at the Nationals. So I apologize. I just can't. Ask me closer to, the week of the Nationals, because I'll do a show that night, the Tuesday of the Nationals, and I'll see if I can walk the pit area and figure that out. What happened to the golden boy Devin Borden? Nobody wants him in PA rides anymore. I don't think there's a lot of rides to get. And a lot of family-owned teams. And I do think some people feel he's hard on equipment or crashes too much, stuff like that. I don't know, being older, if he settled down a little bit. Ran decent at Skagit earlier this year, a couple weeks ago. Hasn't been back. Thought he was going to run the 410 out there. Just hasn't shown up. But I think, again, we just don't have a lot of rides available, and I think he's going to be selective too. I don't think he's just going to jump in anything. I think he's content to do his power washing business, which I hear is going really well, and run some races at Skagit. You think Casey King can take back some good ideas for his car for Pursley? I don't know. Do you interject yourself into what Jarrett and Dason are doing? I don't know. I'm sure he's going to say, he has to say something to, ways to, I think it's, and I said this a few weeks ago, I think it's the fastest car Kane's ever been in as far as a sprint car. I think it's the best car he's ever been in. Some people scoffed at that. I don't know why you'd think. I mean, I think that Macri car is really good. Joe Mooney deserves a lot of credit. And if Casey's not taking something back, I think that's a lost opportunity. I'm sure he'll say so. I'm sure they'll talk at the very least. I think Ashton's performance is the reason Shark Racing folded the full-time tour. Seems no one is admitting that. I just think it was financial. Look, you're not going to throw Ashton on a World of Outlaws tour and expect him to light it up. I mean, he's not running against the posse. Not that the posse's terrible, but come on. It's not like he's running against he's running against good guys every night at different tracks, most of which he didn't see. So you expected results to dip. They had some crashes. I know that's not something that Shark Racing can take a lot of, especially the 1A. And Jacob, probably more like his dad than, say, Logan was, in that if you crash a few times, they're not going to like it. So bringing it home in one piece and putting it in the trailer in one piece is important. And I just think they had some crashes. I think the finances became a problem, and they came home. I didn't expect Ashton to go out there and run top 5 every night. I think that's ridiculous. So, and yes, the Posse is inferior competition in the world of outlaws. That's obvious. Bob on line 6. Bob, how are you?
Good, Jeremy. How you doing?
Oh, not too bad.
Question. Last night, good. Yeah, I'm watching the short track Super Series race while I'm talking to you. But anyway, last night during that outlaw event, Justin Henderson, is he the same Justin Henderson that was a track champion at Lincoln? He used to drive a number 21 at Lincoln.
I don't remember a Justin Henderson running a 21 at Lincoln. I know a Brian Monteith. A Brian Monteith ran to 21 at Lincoln.
Yeah, that's right. But I was there for an opener. That's right. Monteith drove the 21. But I think Justin Henderson came in and won the opener that year. That's probably what it was.
Yeah, I mean,
an opener one.
He's been in PA.
Sorry, yeah, okay, I thought so. He won the opener one year. I thought that was Fred Raymer. The father was still racing then. So that's how far back it goes. But I went out there for an early opener, and Monteith was track champion the year prior. I know in the 21. That's right, Monteith. That's what it was. And Henderson was the season opener winner. So, all right, thank you for the correction.
No problem.
Anyhow, all right, you have a good evening.
You too, Bob.
Good talking to you. Yeah, bye.
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 I'd like to see 358 driver Chase Gutshaw in a 410. I mean, he's got to win more 358 races. Jeremy, have teams ever had a car in Iowa and one in PA and one on the West Coast so they can do drop-ins easier in those regions? I doubt it highly. I know teams have kept cars here to do that, but I don't know of any in 3 regions like that. That gets pretty salty. So no, not that I know of. I've been really impressed by Joel Myers Jr. Yes, I agree. Yes. Looking good in Power I. Won a couple Power I races. Has looked good in Ohio at times. He left California and he's now, I guess, what you would call the Midwest Ohio region. Hoping to see him when he rolls in when the All-Stars roll in here. Anxious to see how he does in here if he comes in. Not sure. If not, I'll see him in the Midwest. But no, looks really good. Jeremy, tell us about dropping off pay-per-view equipment. Just lost BAPS this year and had a couple other things happen. So basically, I'm selling the pay-per-view equipment that I purchased. We will still have, I do think we'll probably have pay-per-view in some form. It won't be SprintCarUnlimited.tv. We'll have to see. But there's no reason for me to have it. So I can unload it and sell it. Jeremy, I have canceled my trips to Eldora and Knoxville this year. I can't trust the front row domination and no passing of Knoxville again. Okay. I mean, Eldora is usually pretty good. I know last year Macri was fast. I think he started second. The last 3 years have been run off the front row, but the shots one, I mean, there's got to be context. It rained a ton. There was no way that was going to widen up. But there have been guys win from 7th, 9th, 6th. In the last 15 years, I think the front row's only 6 times. So 9 times it was won outside the front row. Once from 14th. That was Shane Stewart. Marks, I think, won from, was it 9th or 12th? Something like that. It can be done. And Eldora, the thing is with Knoxville, shots won from 21st. I think the deal with Knoxville is the best cars start up front. There's no tricky format. You're pretty good all week. But I don't know. Kings Royal, I would never get rid of. Bumper to Bumper IRA had some competitive shows lately. Yeah, I watched a couple of them. They look pretty good. I know Paul Neuenheiser won the last one. Now, I believe the race before that, he wasn't in the top 10. So IRA, I like what they got going in Wisconsin. That Wisconsin area, I think, is underrated. I enjoyed my trip out there. I thought the tracks were really nice. I'm glad I went out. And it won't be the last time I go out. Should Hagerstown get a World of Outlaws event or high limit event? Is there a reason they never have sprint cars besides PA Speed Week anymore? They've cut back to a part-time facility. And anytime you do that, that's just not a recipe for getting big events. And I don't know if they want to pop the money for the sanction fee or if they want to rent the track or what the deal is with that. But now that they've gone part-time, I don't think you're going to see it. I don't know how long they'll be around anymore. I always question that. I've heard different things. Nice facility. I always liked the racing there, except a couple of those Speed Week shows when it was blowing. They were doing like 20-second laps in time trials after the AMA show, but they got rid of that. Good facility, just less and less races, and I don't know if they recover from that. When is Macri returning? Not sure. It has not been disclosed. Aaron is a great driver, and I like his shift in attitude in the past few years. I think he's the same guy. I just think he's in a better place. I think he's happier. I think he's happier in this situation. And I think that means a lot. I think he's comfortable. I think he's with owners that he really likes. I think that he likes the team he has. I just think he's in a good situation. And I think that improves, obviously, your mood. Not all wins are the same. Wrightsville's wins are bigger than Dietz, in my opinion. I would agree with that. I would agree. He won at Knoxville against the Outlaws. He was winning high limit races. So, yes. Is the Outlaws 2 points per position through the entire finishing order, or does it change? It's four between first and second, then drops by 2. Not a big gap there. So it's 4. So the winner gets, I forget how many, but then it drops 4 and then 2 between positions. Growing up in Western PA, I would love to have a deep dive with Bob. Well, it's family. And that's very doable. He's winning at Tri-City. That's impressive. For a guy, what's he, is he 70 yet? 68, 70, something like that. Not really sure how old he is. If the crowd doesn't show up for this Friday at the Grove with a perfect weather forecast and money in people's pockets from the Weikert rainout, you might as well put this PA Posse series out to pasture. Not going to disagree. The fans should be falling out of the stands both nights at the Grove and at Lincoln. You only have 2 races going on this weekend. You haven't had a race since the Sunday show at BAPS 2 weeks ago. There's no excuse. So yeah, it's a problem. If they're not, I'll be at the Grove. I have a family thing, and Eric will be filling in for me at Lincoln, which I appreciate. And I'm looking forward to seeing what these crowds are like. And they need to be good. There's no excuse for it. Jeremy, you are wearing your own merch. You would sell out quickly. Quit procrastinating and take. Well, this is old. This is old merch. I don't have any of these anymore. So it's not new. I don't have anything new. In fact, I'm almost embarrassed to wear it. It's faded. I do need to get merch. Look, I'm one thing at a time. I'm working on a couple different things here. I hope to have merch sometime, maybe in July, maybe a little sooner if things work out. How much is the degenerate gambler in you losing on the Avalanche? None. I haven't bet on one game. I haven't bet on hockey in 2.5 weeks. I didn't like anything. I haven't liked anything. I didn't like the lines. I didn't the series. I probably would have lost some on the Avalanche, but something told me not to wager on it. There's some things I didn't like in the Kings series, especially power play, and Vegas doesn't. Something just didn't jive. I would have never picked Vegas to win it. I was down on Vegas coming into the playoffs. And that's based on everything I saw in the regular season. But Tortorella has done a great job, which you expect that. So, but I've lost none. Lost none on the Avs. By the way, if you want a football bet, futures, I like the Chargers to win the AFC West. There's your futures. Dr. Midnight on line 7. Doctor, how are you?
I thought today was Monday. I didn't even know this show was on. I was flipping through the show, and I think you said some things wrong.
Which part?
When you're talking about Buddy and his win percentage.
Yeah, I didn't know. I wasn't sure. I know it's pretty high.
Well, let me give you the rundown here.
That's what we like.
For their career, Gravel is 12.23 and Buddy is 12.03.
Ah, okay, so it's close.
Career.
Okay.
Now, if you look at the last 108 races of Buddy, he's won 24. That's a 22.2% win rate over his last 108 races. That historically puts him, Kinzer's 24.3 and Larson's 23.1. So for the last little less than 2 years, Buddy is in historic pace.
That's what I was thinking of. That's where the third came in.
Yeah, he's winning at a historic rate his last 108 races. If he keeps that up, I don't know, it's pretty amazing. But him and Gravel are almost tied.
Okay, that's career.
For career, they're almost tied. It's almost the exact same percentage. But he's just getting started. Okay, then you said something about our Kane bet.
Yes, I wanted to talk to you about this. So I'm glad you called. It was through the end of May. So
Okay.
this is what I win that, and I'll extend it because he's going on the road a little. I'll extend that for double or nothing. Now he's going to now
Are
just
we starting? Okay, I understand, but the first bet's over.
yes.
Are we starting a new bet at ground zero?
No, I was
And
just
you're
going to
saying
roll
he'll
it.
average.
I was just going to roll it
Well, why would I do that?
because it benefits me.
I'd be behind 30. Why would I be behind 30 spots and keep the bet going?
Man,
Let's start a new bet.
All right, I'll do that.
I didn't think you could win a bet with a driver who never passed anybody in the main event.
He did. He passed guys at Grandview.
The guys he crashed?
No, he did not crash Brady Bacon. He used him up. And he did pass.
What about?
He did pass Gravel back at the Grove.
Gravel didn't officially.
No, not officially lead a lap. No, but he did pass him.
Well, you're really reaching there. Okay. Well, how many bets do we got to go on the in this latest?
Well, we have.
What's the schedule?
Okay, so I got to remember how many races are going to run. Hang on, I'll check here because I think people like our wager here. So I won the one. I know he's going to run Knoxville, which that could be a problem. That could be
the National.
Okay, here's the upcoming schedule for Kate. He's going to run all-star races at the Grove and Lincoln. Then June 9th, he's going Eagle Raceway. June 11th, Shelby County. And then the 12th and 13th at Knoxville. So there's 6 races. And they're against the Outlaws and High Limit and All-Stars.
That's the bet. 6 races.
6 races.
And we're staying with 12? Or
Yeah, no, I'll stay with 12.
And is this bet also $25?
Yep. Double or nothing.
Okay.
Yep. I'll give you your chance to get your money back because you're going to lose the gravel one. Although Buddy's up to second. He's tied with Carson Macedo.
I do agree with Will's call. Did the guy who gets sideways, did he have to go to the back of the pack?
He did.
So now if you get sideways, you're going to the back.
Look, I'll say the same thing to you. I said to him, I just think you're not going to have consistency anymore on these calls. I think it's going to be judgment based on just knee-jerk reaction to safety. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying the way it's going to be, I think.
So if someone jumps the cushion, we might get a yellow?
I think you could see that, yes.
That last yellow at the Indy 500, a guy brushed the wall. They threw a yellow.
Yeah, but that's debris. You've got to do that on those cars. Those cars break apart. You can't. Those aren't.
The guy just brushed the wall. He kept going.
Yeah, but there was debris back there. Those cars, you can't.
I don't think there was debris. The guy brushed the wall. Okay.
But.
So now anybody looks like they do anything fishy, we're going to start throwing yellow.
I just think it's going to be a judgment call all the way around.
Okay. That's it.
All right. We're locked in for another bet to follow. Everybody can follow this one.
Okay. I lost that one by a ton. Okay.
All right. Thanks, Dr. Midnight.
Bye.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Robin, this guy sounds a lot like Broke Joe. He might. It might be his brother his younger brother. It does sound a lot like Broke Joe, though. 324 watching and 67 likes. That's bad. Thank you. Close the chat and hit the like. I think 324 is okay. I mean, obviously I want it to go as high as it can, but yeah, I appreciate it. Persley has tore up more stuff than Brad Sweet did his whole tenure, it seems. Not all of it's been his fault, but yes, there has been a lot of crashes. The one at Central Arizona Central Arizona weekend was bad. Those were the worst because he's running in the back by himself. That wasn't good. Grandview, not his fault. Nothing he could do. So it's give and take. We'll see. We'll see how. I don't think Kane's going to have a quick hook. It's just not how he operates. That'll be definitely a story to follow throughout the season. Have you heard of any other posse members besides Danny Dietrich coming over to for Ohio Speed Week? I haven't heard of any, but I wouldn't be surprised if you get one or two guys coming out. Maybe a Brock Zerfoss, possibly. Maybe a does the 1A go run some Ohio Speed Week shows? I think that would be a good starter deal for Cameron Smith to get some laps. I don't think starting him at Eldora against the Outlaws or anything like that would necessarily be smart. I think running some Ohio Speed Week shows would make sense. So I could see a couple guys coming out other than Dietrich. Dashes are a waste of time. Start where you draw. Why give these guys extra track time to set up their car for the feature? It's a waste of time and draws out the show. I see your point. I don't know if fans would miss it or not. I mean, I don't care either way. It's not something I get hung up on too much. They got to give them time anyway. They got to have time between when you have a one division show, you got to have time between the heats and the last chance showdown. And I don't think a draw is enough necessarily. So you might as well just run it. That's not a hill I die on either way. What do you think of the All-Star Circuit of Champions qualifying format, qualifying within your heat, then lining up? I like it. I think it's fine. I think they run like a speed week type format where fast time starts fourth and then they're heads up after that. If it's against their heat race, yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I'd like to know how they divvy up their heat races, though. I'd like to see them as even as possible. There's no reason we can't, in 2026, even out flights and even out heat races. I know High Limit evens out their flights, and from what I gather, the Outlaws have started taking their platinum members and evening them out. Now, they can still be lopsided because of the guys, the locals who run with them, but they try and even out their platinum guys. There's no reason that can't be done in 2026. But yeah, no, I have no problem with that format. Thoughts on the idea of Logan Rumsey being the new Lefevre driver? I don't hate it. I think he looks good. I know they're not a highly funded team. I do know they have to pick and choose where they race and when they race because of that, as from a resources standpoint. I wouldn't hate that. I think Cameron Smith, Logan Rumsey, to me, are the two guys in the area who stand out as far as young guys, kind of making a name for themselves in Central PA. So I don't think that'd be a bad hire at all. Plus, I think he could bring a crew, which I think Lefevre needs right now. Jeremy, do you know what the TV ratings were at Grandview? I do not. Maybe Chase, I know Chase is in here. Maybe he could help out with that. I do not. I have not seen him yet. Good to see Ramen on the chat from time to time. Is Johnny Gibson ever here? I don't think I've seen Johnny here. Yeah, I mean, everybody's welcome. The best thing about Nationals is Wednesday and Thursday. I enjoy it all, but yeah, no, I like Wednesday and Thursday. I don't mind the fields being split. I know some people don't like it. The Nationals really all week is good, and it goes fast. It really does. You know, I don't mind flying out. Flying home sucks. It's just, you just want to get home. Plus I stay up all night. Usually Saturday, because I get a 6 a.m. flight on Sunday, and I just want to get home and write more. So I write all night, and then so it's long. But I enjoy every night. But Wednesday and Thursday, I agree. There's a buzz with that because you're getting in that top 16. So I agree with you. I think Wednesday and Thursday are really good. Just as good as the finale. Didn't Gravel pass like 21 cars last year at the Nationals? Yes, he did. I could see a Joe Mooney, Anthony Macri package deal to KKR next year. Any thoughts? Don't hate it. You know, I don't know how long the 39M is going to be around. I don't know. You know, originally the thought was to get Anthony going to where he's driving for somebody. I don't hate it. And I'm not going to say it wouldn't happen. I'm not going to say it will. I mean, I think it's, you never know. Could be possible. I think Anthony likes, I do think Anthony likes being at home though. I do think he likes the idea. And if you run for KKR, I don't know how that would be living here. I don't know how the logistics of that would work. I know Anthony likes being able to go out when he wants and come home when he wants. And I don't blame him for that. And he's good enough that he can make a really, really good living. And again, he's up there in that top 5, top 6 discussion every year. That car's good. Joe Mooney's good. And Anthony's developed into one of the best in the country as well. But it would be interesting. Jeremy, Gibson never mentions high limit. Is that his doing, or is he ordered from? No, that is his doing. Connor Wade mentions it. It's a choice. Should more teams in the central PA region do more races out of state like Ohio Speed Week? Got to remember, it's a working class region. There are a lot of people with jobs. And we have so many races here that they have to take off work to run like a Speed Week, which is 10 nights. They have to take off to run some of the midweek sanction shows at BAPS, at Lincoln. They have to take off shows to run some of the Bridgeport shows or some of the we have so many shows here, and a lot of guys here work a job. So they don't have the luxury of just leaving the area. I don't think it's not that they should or don't want to, it's that it's difficult to do it. Plus you can run 80 races here. There's no reason to leave. And they pay well. The payouts here are tremendous. Where's Parker Price Miller? He's in the 71 Bernie Stubjen car. I expect him to be running high limit this weekend at Lawrenceburg. It's in Indiana. He'll be at Lawrenceburg Friday. There you go. I'm not going to lie. I'd love to see Alan Crimes in the 75. Yeah, I don't know if he'll be back. How long? I just can't remember. How long's he been out? How long has he been out? The years just run together. Is it 2? Has he been out of it 2 now? 2 full seasons? I think it's been. Are you still ahead on your Kane average finishes? Yes, I won that one. We just decided to make another one for the next 6 races. Same parameters, $25, 12th place finish. Double or nothing. Playing with house money. Who's your pick to win at River Cities this week? Boy, there's like 4 guys there who definitely can get it done. I'll say Gravel top 3's it. Give me Buddy. Short stuff. He's good there. Short track. The other ones to think about are Sheldon's decent there. Gravel's good there. And Donnie could be a sleeper there if he times well. Obviously, he's won there enough. Jeremy, I put Sprint Car Unlimited live on at the gym and you're blasting on all the speakers. There's no way. There's no way. I can't imagine you do that. Surprised they don't throw you out. Hit the like button so we can get our merch. Thanks, Jeremy and Eric. I appreciate that. Will All-Stars win at either Grove or Lincoln when they come in? No. I don't even know if they finish in the top 5. I could see, I don't know if Joel Myers will come in. I doubt it. Cale Thomas, could see him top 5. No, they won't contend for the win. No. My memory is getting bad. Have the Outlaws used their current format forever? No, they used to do a bunch of different things. They used to have the deal like High Limit did, where the prelim, the top 4 lock in the next night. They used to have some inversions. They used to do different things. It isn't forever. It hasn't always been like this. How often do the 410s run at Hagerstown? One time, Pennsylvania Speed Week. They used to do Oktoberfest, and there used to be one at the beginning of the year. Now we're just down to one. Will Hunter Schoenberg get a ride? Boy, tough. That's tough. They're not plentiful. And now he's off the radar a little bit, I think. Boy, I don't know. He'll get another shot somewhere. I need a 90 at 9 for tomorrow. So any ideas, throw them up. As long as they're not ludicrous, Sugar Bear. I think he gets another shot somewhere. Outlaws should pay bonus if winners come outside of the dash driver incentive. Not bad. I like it. Crime's last race, September 16th, 2023, 7th at Lincoln. Thank you very much, Lauda. I appreciate that. SprintCarRatings.com. Never go wrong with them. Except when you look at hot lap time trials instead of hot lap times instead of actual time trials. I thought Lance would have won more than one time so far this year. Chase Dietz is just too good. Right now, Chase Dietz is lights out in PA. And I think Troy Wagaman's having a better year than maybe some expected this soon. Usually kind of picks things up during the summer months. They've been pretty good. Lance has had some mechanical stuff too. They need to work on that and start getting top fives and then start competing for wins. How long has the Outlaws been doing their terrible format? I don't know when they changed that. I can't remember. I just can't remember when they changed it. Any news on the driver for the STP 32? I wouldn't be surprised if there is no driver for the STP 32. I wouldn't doubt if they kind of pull back and just go into sponsorship mode. Wouldn't surprise me. I've heard some rumblings of that. 98.9, top rideless prospects. Elias and Hunter, Zeb Wise, Boguski, Thiel. Interesting. It's not bad. It's not bad. I don't mind that. Tomorrow's 98.9, Outlaws awful format, driving fans away, apparently. Yeah, I don't think they're driving fans away. People accept it when they go to outlaw races. 98.9 Western PA Speed Week as it kicks off tomorrow. Could get a mention. How long do you think Buckwalter will be racing 410s? I don't know. They have motor trouble a lot, and they're in and out, and I just feel like I'm seeing him less and less this year. Probably as long as Claire Ritter's in it. I think it's going to depend on that. As long as Claire Ritter stays in it, I think he'll be in it. But outside of that, I think it could get dicey, and I think he goes and runs other stuff. Bounty has hit a few nerves. What you think? An outlaw wins, but think they lost 100,000. But it doesn't bother me. I'm not surprised it was done. I don't think it's a big deal. From the standpoint of, I think you're going to get one or two cars from it. And I think if you're Ryan Timms, I think you put a big bullseye on it more than before. Not that he can't win it or that you don't think of him or that he didn't want to win it before. I mean, 300,000 is a lot of money, but I think people maybe think Aaron Reitzel, Rico, but Ryan Timms has performed well at Huset's in the past. I think obviously he would have to be the favorite outside of an Aaron Reitzel or Rico, or maybe a local who could steal one. But other than that, I don't think you're going to draw 10 cars from it. I don't think you're going to have a swath of teams from PA going out or Ohio going out. I just think it's a talking point, and we'll see if it draws anybody. Over under 6.5, Jet Barnes 410 debut with Myers at NARC at Watsonville Friday. I'm going to take the over, meaning he finishes better than 6.5. How long do you think it'll be when the 27H closes up shop? I know Bryce Lucius is in it, but I don't see that lasting long. I don't know if it's going to close up shop. I could see them cutting back races. Kurt Michael's running that deal, and I just don't see it unless there's a rash of crashes. I could see them keeping that deal alive for a while, just maybe less races. But we'll see how Bryce does on it. I mean, running PA, he's going to see a bunch of half miles. Did Rico buy an engine company? Yes, he has Speedway Motors. When will the Aussies get to PA this year? Look for James McFadden right around Speed Week. James McFadden's supposed to be coming in with Tarleton. And then I think you'll see the other Aussies come through here. So maybe a week. I'd say, what is it, the 26th? I'd say in about 3 weeks, maybe a week before Speed Week kicks up. Jeremy, Aussies are just power eye quality talent with weird accents. James McFadden's really good. James McFadden's good. Jeremy, any news on HP engines? I'm not going to talk about it. Nice try, though. I'll have something on that probably in the next 2 weeks. All right, good deal. I'm out. I appreciate everybody joining the show. What's this? If Gravel and Reitzel are heels, who are the baby faces? I guess it's an old. I'd say you probably say Rico, Larson, anybody like that. Tim's. I think they're viewed. I think Donnie's viewed favorably now. Why does McFadden not count? Isn't he Australian? What? You can't just take him out. Sugar Bear is funny. All right. All right. We're getting out of here. Thank you, everybody who joined the show. Sorry, I was a little under the weather early. Better now. You guys helped out, got a little water, and we'll be back next week. Stay tuned.